Hello everyone, KTSB here. Been a while since I did a major video. In this video, I will be discussing roars. Specifically, the evolution of Eren Yeager's Titan roar in both the original Japanese sub and the English dub. Yeah, that's right, I said the dub roars. While some hate them with a burning passion, I quite like them. For the ease of editing, I'll spend the first half of this video going over the sub roars, and then the second half on the dub roars, and then lastly, a comparison between the two. So, without further ado, let's get started with the sub roars. Ah yes, Season 1. The simpler time when where fewer Titans felt like an actual threat and Eren screamed all the time.
You ripped my shirt, you're dead! I don't give a damn about your shirt! You pissed me off! What?
This season, for both the sub and dub, probably has the least consistent roars compared to the rest of the series. At the start of the Trust arc, his roar sounded a lot higher than normal, or closer to what Amasuma Yuki Kaiji screaming actually sounded like. Not only that, but in some of them, there was a decent amount of multi-tone in them. Not quite to the extent the dub is infamous for, but enough to where when I first heard them, I was a bit surprised. However, during the flashback to Eren transforming inside the Santa Tiny, his roar does sound a lot more familiar to his stereotypical sub-roar. One thing I find interesting about the roars on the second half of Season 1 is that although they're not as high as the ones from the first half, they are noticeably higher than the ones that come later. When the time came for Season 2, things mostly stayed the same as Season 1. However, I do think there's a bit more gurgling towards the end of the roar than there was before. Season 3 is when the roars started getting more deeper and, in my opinion, less angry sounding. That's not a bad thing, as I think it suits Eren's overall slightly more mellowed character in Season 3. However, it does come back during the fights with Reindeer. Lastly is the roars from Season 4 Part 1 through 2, as at the time of making this video, Season 4 Part 3 is still being made. Like with Season 3, these roars are deeper in pitch and less intense sounding, which makes sense as by this point, Eren outwardly looks like he's dead inside. Another thing is by this point in the show, Eren is in perfect control of his Titan form, unlike his younger self. There is some minor issues I take with the sub roars, but I'll get more into that during the comparison. For now, let's shift gears to the English roars.
Holy Jesus! What is that?
As I said earlier, I quite like the dub roars, and in some cases, I think they are better than the sub roars. However, as I said with the sub roars, they were also a bit inconsistent in Season 1. Now the dub roars as a whole have a lot of multi-tone in them, but oh boy, did they go ham on that in the Trust arc. This leads to mixed results. Sometimes he sounds really cool and imposing, and other times like a Call of Duty zombie.
Either way, what choice?
When Eren's Titan form returned in the female Titan arc, his roars got changed once again for better or for worse. This time around, they mainly focused on the higher end screechiness of the previous roars. Now that I think about it, these roars are probably where all the Godzilla comparisons came from. Most of these higher roars do a great job at showing how angry Eren is. However, there's some that do get a bit grating on the nerves and sound like a deranged Curious George. With Season 2 came another change, one that would lay the groundwork for the rest of the series. For one thing, the roars have this slightly softer, more echoey feel to them. Also, they took some of the focus off the high end and brought back some of that lowness from the Trust arc roars. It seems the dub team had also found a roar style they liked, as things were basically the same as Season 3. However, there would be some minor changes for Season 4. With this season, it seems the lower vocal pitches take a slightly higher priority in some of the roars, and in Season 4 Part 2, there's also a slight change to the start of the roars. Plus, in some of them, it really feels like you can hear Bryce Papenburg screaming in them. However, there is a noticeable lack of the intensity that the older roars had compared to the current one. Despite this, Most of the season of Clone Wars are pretty good. Now with that out of the way, let's get on to the comparison.
The Dub Roars win. Why? Because they don't reuse roars like the sub. The end.